Borneo, like he said, I'm the product platform director at MSA, the safety company. I've been at MSA my entire career, and really it's because it's a passion of mine. And I've had the opportunity to really think about safety and how technology plays a truly pivotal role in everything that we do. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, we want our workers, our firefighters, to get home safe. Speaking of technology. All right, there we go. So I'm sure many of you have heard about ESG. So much so that I think a lot of times people become skeptical. Is ESG just about Wall Street? Is it just about investors? And the reality of it is, yes, that's incredibly important. But I think you should be looking at this in a positive light, because ESG provides all of us with an opportunity to make a really life-changing impact in all of our work, whether you're talking about in the fire service world or in the industrial world. And so that's really the way to think about this. You might say, well, can I make an impact? It's just this big, giant topic. How can I ever play a role in ESG? And I think the reality of it is, within your organization, you have more opportunity than anyone to actually make an impact. And this is because at the heart of ESG is environmental health and safety. And so the reality of it is, if you don't have good health and safety, you're never going to have good ESG. And they're so tightly correlated that if you have great EHS, you have the opportunity to have great impact on your companies, on your organization's ESG goals. And the way that I like to think about this and talk about this looking forward to the impact that we can make is something called Bird's Triangle. If you're not familiar with it, it also goes by an accident triangle or Heinrich's triangle. But I really like thinking about this because if you look over the past decades, safety has been really focused at the top of that pyramid, preventing those fatalities, preventing those serious accidents. And I think we've done a tremendous job in making strides in that direction. But the reality of it is that at the bottom of that triangle, it's been really, really hard to make an impact. Because at the end of the day, when you think about those unsafe acts and those near misses, is that 2/3 of those you never even know about. So how do you ever make a positive impact on something you're not even aware of? And this is really where technology provides you with the opportunity to change that narrative. You have the opportunity to leverage technology in your organization to start to shed light on those unsafe acts, to start to shed light on those near hits, those near misses. And so that's what I'm going to talk a little bit more about. And so we've seen technology in our everyday lives, right? Business to consumer for the past 2-3 decades. Cell phones have changed our lives. iPads have changed our lives. You go to I'm going to use a US store, Home Depot, for example. The refrigerator is smart. The lights are smart. Everything can be smart today. But then you go into an industrial work site. You go into a firehouse, and how much of that is actually leveraging technology? The reality of it is that a significant portion of it isn't. But what's happened in the past 5 years or so is that a lot of technology in that business to consumer world has been ruggedized, has been made to be durable enough to survive the fire scene, to survive the fire ground, to survive really, really brutal conditions on industrial work sites. And as that's happened, you see what's called Martek's Law. You've seen that technology really start to show exponential growth, but at the same time, I'm sure many of your organizations, they adapt slow. MSA is no different, to be honest. And what that's created is that opportunity gap. And so that's opportunity for all of us to start attacking. And that's looking at it in a positive light. If you want to look at it in a negative light, the reality of it is that's risk. So if you're not starting to understand that technology landscape and what you can start to address with it, you're creating an increasing amount of risk in your organization, in your safety program. But I like to think about it in that positive light. This is an opportunity that we can start going after together. And this really spans multiple industries. And so at MSA, this is the way that we're trying to attack it. You know, a connected firefighter at the end of the day is a safer firefighter. Do you understand the physiological response that is happening when they're fighting a fire? Most of the times, especially historically, you didn't have any awareness. When a firefighter is down, are you making sure that everyone going in after that firefighter is navigating to that down firefighter in the most efficient path? Historically, a lot of times it was a guessing game. And so with technology, you're able to start understanding how you can address all of these potential catastrophic incidents a lot more successfully. And it's not just real time, but it's also looking back historically. You can start to leverage the power of data to understand a firefighter's physiological response in the past 5 fires that he's fought. Do things look good? Do things not look so good? And you actually need to engage with that firefighter to understand how you do things differently now moving forward. It's really that technology and the data sitting behind it that starts to give you a lot of that power. Same goes in the industrial world. Do you have workers on site that are following best practices? Is there a gas exposure and they're just muting it and ignoring it because they want to get the job done? Are there places on the work site where they shouldn't be, but they're going there anyway? These are the opportunities we have with technology in the industrial landscape to really start to bring that worker to life digitally and understand what's going on. Another one based off of the intro. What if workers are working at heights? Are they tied off appropriately? A lot of times from a compliance perspective, this isn't happening, but there's technology out there. You hear about it every day, AI. Computer vision provides the opportunity to give you a set of eyes across an entire work site so you can understand if a worker is tied off or not when they should be. And then that work site, where those workers are at. You can start to bring the assets on that work site, whether they're fixed or whether they're moving around, bring that data together and start to provide insight that you've never had before. For example, let's say you have 100 workers on site and each of them are wearing a gas detector. And over a period of a month, all 100 of those workers walk through a specific area and they see just a low level reading of gas, nothing that's an alarm. At what point is that low level of gas turning into something catastrophic? Today, you never have that insight. You never have that visibility to all of those low level readings. But now you have devices like the Altair IO4 with GPS capability, cellular capability, with the ability to digitally assign this device. So now you're able to aggregate that data, create a heat map, and understand those 100 workers walked through this specific part of your facility and saw that low level of gas. Excuse me. And so with that, now you can go and intervene before something bad actually happens. So it's turning a lot of that reactive type of measures that we take into proactive. And that's really what starts to bring you down Bird's Triangle that I showed before. And the beautiful thing is today is that you can do this all through a single source, through a single platform. And so one of the things that is really important for MSA when it comes to technology is that we get the user experience right. Because how many times have you tried to do something with technology and when it doesn't work, You say, forget this, it's not worth the extra effort. At MSA, we don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that technology is easy to use and easy to adopt. And here's the harsh reality, is that sometimes when we talk about technology, when we talk about GPS monitoring, when we talk about physiological response, people start to get a little bit nervous, right? Is this the big brother always watching me? And this is where I think it's really important for you as leaders when it comes to health and safety within your organizations, that you understand this is an opportunity to create a really positive and constructive relationship with your teams, with your organization. Humans are humans at the end of the day, and we're going to make mistakes. This is the reality. We don't want to take punitive measures because they're making mistakes, but we want to make sure that we can engage with them, show compassion, show care, and ultimately coach them. So that's what, when we talk about it internally at MSA, we talk about it as coaching. Because coaching tends to have a much more positive connotation than just training or other words that might be used. And so we want to make sure that we're engaging with the workforce in the right way so that this is not seen as a big brother type of effort. And while I'm super excited about where technology can take us over the next 5 to 10 years, the reality of it is that this is a journey. This is a journey for everyone developing these technologies. This is a journey for organizations adopting them. I've seen a lot of customers get really interested in going from 0 to 100 overnight. And I want to say probably almost all of them have failed as initiatives because it's just too big of an effort to bite off in one swoop. So when you think about change management, think about that journey and how you take incremental steps in getting to where you want to be. Because every incremental step that you take and is successful, that just builds momentum within the organization. And then you're able to move to that next step and really continue that momentum from there on out. And so that's really what my message is. Technology gives us this opportunity to kind of think about safety and how you can have a dramatic impact on ESG goals and initiatives that you have within your organization. So yeah, you might hear about ESG a lot within Wall Street, within the investor community, but think of that as the opportunity to go with some of the initiatives that you have. Think about that as an opportunity to take a look at the technology landscape that's out there, whether it's within the fire service, within the industrial world, to better understand how you could leverage that within your organization to make a truly dramatic impact and to make your mark on the organization.